Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the youngest guest I've ever had the pleasure of interviewing. He's an 8-year-old basketball prodigy. You'll meet the great Breckin Riess next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you are an NBA scout, I want you to remember this name, Breckin Riess. He is going to be the next superstar of the NBA. He's 8 years old. I'm sorry, he's 8 years old. He's in my studio. I had to double check that. Welcome to the show. And he's with his dad.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, Breckin and Drew's been on my show before, a very successful entrepreneur. But when I interviewed you a couple years ago, I don't think you knew that your son was such a phenom.
No, he was probably 3 at the time. So at that time, we were wondering, right? It was very awkward at that stage. Are you even going to be athletic? We didn't care, but he's paved his own way.
Okay. Breckin, when did you realize that you loved basketball?
I started at 4 years old by watching Steph Curry highlights. That just inspired me to just keep on dribbling and shooting and stuff.
Okay, more from Breckin and Drew in a minute. You got to see his highlight reel. Let's go ahead and roll that. Wow. Okay, so I want to go back to the very beginning. You're 4 years old. You start playing. Obviously, I mean, you couldn't shoot with a full-fledged net. Yeah. So how big was the net when you first started?
My dad bought me like a 5-foot net he put outside. It's like one of those mini hoops.
Okay. And then Dad, as you're kind of watching him, it's not like you're bugging him to go out and practice. He just took to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, COVID was going on around this time, right? Actually, the story goes at 3, he was turning 4 right when COVID kind of hit, and my daughter asked me for a basketball hoop in the front yard, and the HOA said no. You can't have those in our neighborhood. So we thought outside the box, and we realized, but we can do anything we want in the backyard. So I installed a half court, a real court in the backyard, gave her the basketball, and she never touched it. And so now there's a court in the backyard. It wasn't cheap, and he just took to it. Watching these YouTube videos, studying the dribbling, using both hands. I got 2 basketballs at that point, obviously. And then he would be outside trying to shoot. Even when I lowered it down to 7 feet, he couldn't get it to the rim. So we bought one of those Fisher-Price 5-foot things and put it out there on the court. And just over time, it just evolved. During COVID, it was just, kids were locked in the house. There's nothing really to do, but we never had to entertain him. He just went out there. And one day he was able to make the 7-footer. We throw away the Fisher-Price hoop, and off we went.
And Breckin, how often do you practice?
I practice like 3 practices a day if I can, but every day at least 2.
And what time do you get up?
Tuesdays and Thursdays I get up at 6:30. Mondays and Wednesdays I get up at 8 to do a 9 a.m. trick.
Wow. We're going to show some more highlights, and I want you to kind of narrate this. Breckin, when you're out on the court, I know you're just a nice young Christian boy, but you become, you can talk some trash out there, can't you?
Yes.
You become a different person on the court?
Yes. My dad always says, be nice off the court, but on the court, do whatever you want.
There you go. That's amazing.
Within context.
And Drew, I know you're a very proud father, great entrepreneur. You have been brilliant when it comes to marketing. He's already got merch, and I mean, where do you see all of this going?
You know, I don't know, but he's so laser focused, and I've never met somebody that young that wants to work as hard as he does. He typically trains with, 13, 14-year-olds every night at 7 p.m. at the gym, and he gives them, a run for their money. And I remember in my entrepreneurial days, I mean, the original days where I had to pull 24-hour shifts running machines and my body was spent. I remember digging deep for that extra thing that people have called, I've said it to you before, the it factor.
Yes.
He has so much more than I ever had. And it scares me that he was 6 when he realized he had it and asked me, I want to start practicing at 6 a.m. so I'm better than the kids that are at school, and I want to be homeschooled so I'm better than the kids that are having to do the regular routine. So he is homeschooled now, if I didn't mention that. So the work ethic, is just there to do anything in life,
Sure.
right? Be a leader. Those are the principles that I'm really focused on. I am trying to teach him public speaking. This is a great opportunity.
Sure.
And just representing something more than yourself. So the brand stands for more than just, his name. He's got his own mission and what he wants to do with it. And he designed his own logo. So I just said, hey, let's throw it on some clothes and let's try to trademark it.
All right, let's talk about the logo. And I noticed you got a little bling here. So tell us about the significance of the logo.
It's just for people to know that's me on the court, scouts to know, like, with my headband on the court, I always have my logo, so just people to know that's me.
And they're bees?
So it's 2 B's actually laid on top of each other. My family number has always been 2.
Yes.
So myself, my sister, I think my daughter was 2.
I started at 2.
You started as 2, and he came to me one day and said, can I change my number? And I was thinking, no, that's the family number. I get to decide this. But he said, a 3 looks so much more like a B, Dad, and I can do something with it. And he designed the logo, and I said, oh, wow, it's Ballin' Breckin. It's 2 B's laid on top of each other. It also looks like the money symbol. And he's in the number 3 now, and that's actually one of his best talents. He shoots a ridiculous percentage from 3-point.
Wow. And you were telling me a story just before the show. Would you share it again on, I don't know if it was a scout or somebody who saw his talent and then took you outside?
Sure. I think you had asked me, when did I notice he was good? And I don't have a stick to measure to. And all I know is through COVID, he really worked hard. He was asking to go to practices at certain little camps. And then COVID kind of clears and the field house in Frisco, Texas opens back up. And we signed him up then for rec ball, just like anyone else would their child. And basically, he goes to his very first game. He steals a ball on the other side of the half court and dribbles it perfectly all the way down and lays it up. And at that age, every child was just grabbing it and running with the ball. And the fact that he put it on the floor, perfectly, and I have these videos, and scored, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Proud dad moment. That's all it was at that point. The very next possession, he steals the ball again. He does the exact same thing. And how did that one end?
So I was coming full speed down, then I stopped, let the defenders go by, and I made my jump shot.
So he hits a jump shot. I think he had 17 of the 20 points that the team had that day.
Wow.
And the referee looked at me and said, can we talk after the game? And I'm assuming he did something wrong. He pushed somebody, maybe he doesn't know how to play by the rules. And so I go up to this referee after the game and I said, sir, everything okay? And he said, yeah, will you step outside with me? So we go outside of the field house and he calls somebody and I hear this gentleman on the phone. He said, Robert, I got one for you. I have no idea what this is.
Right.
What do you mean you've got one for him? And he gave me an address. And on that Tuesday, we ended up driving down to Carrollton, Texas to the back of a tire shop where it was very hot. There was no air conditioning. There was no heat or anything. And for months upon months, whether it was snowing, sleet, rain, hot, we were in the back of this tire shop multiple times a week training with this gentleman that is still to this day his private coach. He considers him his second dad, and they just have a great bond. And both of his kids are really, really, really good players. His daughter's going to Division I next year. So we just know if he sticks with Robert and we just keep doing what we're doing, sky's the limit.
And so what is the plan? He's homeschooled now. At some point, he plays on a high school team? Or what's the plan?
I want to go to IMG Academy. That's in Florida. Then I want to play for University of Kentucky Wildcats. And then for the NBA, I either want to play for Chicago Bulls or Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, I understand the Mavericks because you live here. So tell us about Chicago. Why do you love Chicago?
As Texas, it's always hot here. We never get like snow or cold or anything. So I thought it would just be cool to be down there and get snow and stuff.
Yeah, the Bulls have had some good teams, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have a gym. Okay, tell us about that.
That's just a place to basically hang out, play one-on-ones, train, get better, and like 40 people a day go up there. So
Wow. That fill us in. So
Yeah, it was crazy. The schedule was kind of nuts. We were driving down to Carrollton for practice on Monday, driving up to Anna on Tuesday, driving whatever coach he was with or wherever our primary coach, Robert, wanted to have practice. It's just wherever court time is available. And then in Dallas, the pickleball's been taking over.
Right.
So the SWAC, or what used to be known as the SWAC off, I think it was Highway 35 there, they convert to a pickleball place, get rid of all the volleyball, get rid of all the basketball courts. So it seemed like the amount of courts were just shrinking in the area. And so you're fighting over court time. And so we came up with the idea that, this isn't a short-term thing. He has a long-term vision. He's just told you things he's manifesting for his future, where he's going to high school, where he's going to college. And Mom and I are just going to pour into it. So me being a business guy, I just said, let's build our own gym. And so we did. It's got 2 hoops inside there, one with a stationary shooting gun. So if he doesn't shoot the best free throw percentage in the world at this age, I'd be shocked because he gets hundreds and thousands of shots up a week. He gets, time to focus on his 3-pointers with that gun, just constantly pounding balls back to him. And then there's a half-court regulation high school court inside this space that he can practice his full game. And so it was built for his private training and to make my wife and I's life easier. It's 10 minutes from our house up in Prosper. So we're able to go up there whenever he wants, right? Nobody's going to tell us, oh, the court's taken. And when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's too hot, this is a space that's temperature controlled. And then Robert, obviously being as close to our family as he is, we said, why don't you do your thing here? And so we've got a great underground grassroots movement going up there. If you go to grindcircuit.com, that's where you can sign up for nighttime trainings. If you have a beginner basketball player that's 3 or 4 years old, he'll do the same drills with those children that he did with Breckin at that same age. And then he trains himself. He does the older kids' time, typically 6:30 to 8 o'clock, where he's with, teenagers and such, just so he has good competition and he's always playing up.
Well, I'm so impressed with both of you. We're almost out of time, so I want to leave it with Breckin giving advice to other kids who have dreams. What's the secret to, realizing your dream life?
It's just basically if you have a basketball at home, take at least like 15 to 20 minutes a day just dribbling. And if you have a hoop at home, that's like amazing. You can work on your shot. You can do moves to get to a basket.
Yes.
So it's just basically practice, and over time it will happen.
When you sign that big NBA contract and you make all those millions of dollars, you'll remember the first TV reporter who interviewed you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want?
We got this on camera.
Why do you want to make millions of dollars, or why do you want to be successful in life? What is it that you're passionate about?
Just my passion is just basically to help the homeless, donate money to church, and just live a good life.
That's beautiful.
It's all him, man. He's manifesting everything he wants. So as much as he wants to do it, his mom and I are just going to keep turning it up.
Well, and congratulations, Drew, on being such a great dad. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So proud of both of you. We're going to end with his Instagram page. It's Breckin Ankles. You'll have to tell us about that. Breckin Ankles? How'd you come up with that?
Just basically, my dad basically came up with it because people normally say, oh, he's breaking ankles. He's breaking ankles. My dad was like, oh, Breckin Ankles.
You're a great marketer.
I don't know, man. It came to me in my sleep. So.
All right, drop the mic. That's been a great show. Thank you, guys. That's it for now.
I appreciate you, Jeff.
You bet.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see you next time.